Now, believe it or not, that's the cleanest spot left on this towel. Laundry day until Tuesday. Today's Saturday. So after this, I'm going to switch towels. All right. What we're working with here is our mystery tool. What I told you to guess what it was when I was putting them in the bucket. What it is, with a broken handle, is a nail puller, and not a very good one. Although it's an interesting tool, and they're good to have around. So I already soaked it. I've already neutralized it. So let's brush some of this rust off. See what we're working with. On the socket, well, the rust and the remaining paint can come right off of it. That's good. I know this isn't a very good nail puller. Not well designed. I have to sand that bit. It's not well designed. It's cast, so with a great deal of pressure, it'll be prone to breaking. But even a bad tool is better than not having a tool at all. Plus, it's an interesting bit of history. Before companies perfected the idea of what this type of tool should be. So we'll clean it up. See if we can save it. For no reason other than to prove we can. That works. That needs some sanding and cleaning. Out there. The finer wire brush. Get our scrap sandpaper. The interesting part of this build is going to be getting that stub of handle out of there. Probably going to use several tools for that. It's got one pin in it. I believe I should be able to get something in there to pull that pin out. If I'm lucky, it's just a nail. If I'm not lucky, it's a screw, but I think I'm lucky. If I didn't think I was lucky, I wouldn't keep buying lottery tickets. Not that I win, mind you, but I figure the money I spend on lottery tickets is my voluntary extra taxes. I'm not going to try that again. I got to get something in there to pull that out. What that something is, I don't know yet. It is in fact just a nail, so that's a good thing. It up enough. Surprisingly, I can't use the nail puller to get that nail out. But I can use the claw on the back of a framing hammer. There we go. Not a very useful tool when you can't use it to fix itself. I don't think this is glued. That being the case, I'm trying to drive the screw into the remainder of that wood. Pull that out that way. So yeah, well, this idea works out. Let's get us a nut rounder. Contrary to popular belief, these are not made to be used on a nut. They're designed to be used, they're called the Vice Grip, brand name. They're designed to be used to ply or bend, which is why they're adjustable locking pliers. They're to ply things. They're also meant to be used similarly to a vise or a clamp. Hold something down while you're working on it, or yank on things, or bend or break things, not to hold onto a nut. The clamping pressure will usually destroy a nut if you try to use it like that. Okay, that's not going to work. Means I got to drill it out. Or at the very least, drill a couple holes into it, break it into pieces. Let's take it out. More power tools always makes things useful, or makes things fun. I want to use a bit that I don't care about. Specifically if I have one a bit. There we are. Okay. There's a couple differences here. If you're ever looking at drill bits, you know what you're looking at. This, they're always shiny and bright. And they got that big spade head on them like that. That is a masonry bit. Not particularly sharp, but they're made to go through concrete, brick, or stone. You go really slow and use a lot of water. These are high-speed steel, HSS. Notice let me get up close to you for this. Now, come on, focus, you fucker. There we are. Notice the shape of the tip. Notice there's a little chisel point on the end, on both of them. These are general purpose. They're usable for wood. They're usable for steel, for cutting metal. They're a twist bit. This is a wood bit, specifically. You have a center point there. You don't use these on metal. That center point there goes right where you want the center of the hole to be, spins around, and much as the brace bit that we used for the bushcraft drill. Has a blade edge to cut the wood, chisel into it. This is a wood bit. The beat up one is cheap. It's out of the bucket of garbage bits that I use rather than wrecking my good tools. So I'll use this to drill into that. Let's see how well that works. And this is an old school tool too. It's probably as old as I am, but well, probably about my age. 70s. Well, I'm not in my 70s. I was born in the 70s. Probably the same time this was made. If you've got old tools, you don't have the hand twist lock up on your Jacob's chuck, your 3-jaw. Use a key. Old tools. Old tools for the win. Let's beat this thing to hell. I get the distinct impression that this chunk of handle was glued in, unfortunately. His life ain't going to be easy. Without taking chunks out just by putting it in there. Oh. I say, kids, don't try this at home, twisting the thing around in a hole. It's effective, but it's stupid. Don't be dumb. I'm old, I can afford to be dumb. I can claim it's tradition. But yeah, don't do dumb shit like I do. Do shit right. I can tell you that while showing you how to do it wrong. And keep a straight face. Let's see if that comes out any easier now. Probably not. Now, if this tool was going to be for use, not just as a display piece for show, I would carve and set a hardwood handle in it. But it's not for actual use. It is just going to be showpiece, so I'm just going to use a chunk of wooden broom handle. Ain't coming out easy. All right. I'll see what other methods I can come up with to get this. Let's see how well you can see it in there. I'll see what other methods I can come up with, and I'll show you them when I come up with them. As poorly designed as this is as a tool, whoever created this socket is a fucking genius. Dedicated. They knew how to make the handle stay in there. Fully 3 inches deep with a very, very mild taper. So whatever went in there would stay in there. There was no glue in that. It was just pressed in and one little pin holding it. It took me a full 45 minutes to get it all out, twin the drill bit, and pressing a screw down into the side, pulling it out over and over again around in a circle until it loosened up enough that it would come out. So, now that we got that, let's find a handle for this. I happen to have an old wooden broom handle here. I don't think it's wide enough myself. No, that ain't wide enough. Let's see what else we got. Little piece of dowel. It's the right diameter. I'll taper that down. Just whittle and carve it down to the right taper, sand it. We'll put that in place, put one pin in it. Now, as this is a decoration, this would usually have a 3-foot handle on it. I'm not putting a 3-foot handle on it. I'll put a 1.5-foot handle on it. How about that? We'll get a tape measure. Luckily, I got lots of tape measures around. Let's measure 1.5 feet. 18 inches right there. Right where my thumbnail is, that's where we'll cut it. Mark it with a knife. So I know where to cut. I'll cut that and taper it down, then we'll put it in place and put a pin in it. Right? Easy job. Get you up here out of the way. Figured I'd show you a trick. Cutting a round stock, whether it's a pipe, tube, a piece of wood, you want your line to be even all the way around. Make sure it's a straight cut. This pipe cutter. You line that blade up where you want that cut to be. Press it in just a bit. Remember my direction of flow here. There. Spin it around, you will get a straight line. Now you got a straight line to work from. You're not going to damage anything. You just follow that line. And you know it'll be straight. You got a little extra on the end. Break it off. Okay. So there's our new handle for this decorative tool. Taper that down. I'll show you what it looks like putting it in. So we got that taper started. Show you another neat trick. All the crap is out of this, clean as it can get. We take our slightly tapered piece, put it in there, press it in as far as you can. As marked, I started the taper at 3 inches because the socket's 3 inches deep. Press it in as far as you can, take it out. Look at where the marks are. where the little bits of rust and little bits of metal are marked. That's the spots. Where'd I set that knife? Not this knife, the other knife. There it is. I was using it over there. That's the spots. You pull down further, because that's the spots that are pressing up against the socket. That ridge there has to come down. Like that. And for the most part, unless you're just taking down one high spot, you go right from the end, change the angle of what you're cutting. Then try it again. Goes a little further this time, you twist it around, make sure it marks everything. You pull it out. Now you got marks on there as to where it's touching the sides, where it isn't. Again, those are the spots. You taper down further. Constantly, slightly modifying everything. Until you get the desired effect, which is the socket going all the way in. Once you got that, if you're going to glue it properly, which I'm not, sand it down and glue it. What I'm doing, on the other hand, is I'm going to put it in, put a pin in it, and that's it, because this is just going on the walls of decoration. It's not useful in and of itself as a tool when compared to other tools that are available. But it's an interesting conversation piece. Goes in further. Spin it back and forth, mark it up. Now we know where it's touching again, so we can pull those down again. Do that over and over. That high spot there that has to come down. Slowly whittling it down. Sharpening that taper until it all fits. You're only pulling off the spots that touch, that are marked by the side, because those are your high spots. You don't want to sand down the stuff that ain't touching, because, you know, that fits. That'll make it loose in the socket. You don't want anything loose in the socket. Even just for a decorative piece, you want to make sure it's done at least relatively right. That spot. That bit there. Let's see how that goes. It's going in more than halfway slightly. So you see, we're slowly getting this better and better. When you get to that point about halfway, you can start doing it with sandpaper. It'll take a little longer to do. This one's just about dead, so finally pull it a square. Sandpaper takes a little longer. But It's still getting the job done. It's a little more accurate. When all those high spots are pulled down, do it again. You keep repeating this process until it goes all the way in. All right, those high spots are all on the bottom end now. See that dirty spot there? That has to come down. It's a little more than the sandpaper will do. So peel it down with a knife. High spot here, shave it down. Keep repeating this process until it actually fits. Might take a while, but the end result will be worth it because it'll fit properly. We got another 1/4 inch. We got 1 1/4 inches left to go. Okay, I'll keep working at this until it fits. I'll show you when I put it in. How's that sound? So I got this thing in there. Figure out screw it. I'll put a bit of glue in it just for the sake of argument. Put a bit of glue in it. There we are. Fits. Sits nice and even. It's tight. I got a rag I don't want to clean. I'll clean that excess glue off. I'll put a nail in it. See how well I can lean this here. Not well, and that glue's going to get on everything. Oh, fuck it. Use the existing dirty rag. Maybe the dirt will keep the glue off of the rag. Probably not, but we'll do our best. After the glue dries, we'll put a nail in there to pin it. Yes, you're fine, baby. Don't worry. I know it smells bad, but that's okay. Yeah, if you don't like the smell of the glue, honestly, neither do I. So there we are so far. I'll put a pin in it. And, hell, I'll show you putting a pin in it. I point that up to the table. Luckily, I got a bunch of nails over there already. Yeah, that'll do. Should go right in. All right. Once that's dry, I'll clean it up. You'll be able to see a decorative little piece of tool history. Why these things are not as useful as one might expect. It's as cleaned up as I'm going to get it. See? Works for all it does. According to the stamps I can find out, it is probably worst product to ever come out of the J.A. Pan Company. It's cast, which unfortunately would make it liable to shattering, if not for the lack of leverage you have trying to use this handle. This thing's probably around my age, around 50 or so. The idea, you put that under a nail, you either lever it that way or you lever it that way. You put this under a nail, lever it this way. You put this under a nail, you lever it that way or you lever it this way. Either way, say if you're on the edge of a board, you can put that under a nail because that won't get in the way. Otherwise, you got to use this side and pull it up or pull it down. Now, most nail pullers you will find are all metal. And keep in mind, this came initially, when I found it, it still had a 3-foot handle on it. A 3-foot wooden handle for pulling nails. That much pressure, even at this distance, even at 1.5 feet, that's going to break the handle. It is poorly designed, poorly executed, poorly implemented, poorly made. But it's a piece of history. People made these things, people tried to use them. The reason they're not on the market anymore is because they didn't work. Reality in action. If a tool don't work, nobody's going to buy it. Simple as that. But I got one. And it's clean, and it's in as good a shape as it could possibly be. Now, if you were to put a steel handle on there, first thing that'd happen is because it's cast, you'd end up snapping the teeth off of it. And those claws would be gone. But it can have a special place on the wall, and we restored it. We did the best we could to make it at least complete. All right, that should do it for today's project. I'm going to clean this fucking mess up and put those towels in dirty laundry and get her another couple, or the pile under the table over there. So the next one, you're going to see new towels. And this will be hanging up somewhere, reminding us to not buy tools what don't work. Okay, talk to you next time.